Well, hello. So, once again, I have to say this, and it annoys me when I have to repeat myself. If I repeat myself, I want to be doing it because I've forgotten I've said something before. But I distinctly remember saying, stop whinging about the frequency and regularity of videos that I make, because I'm not I'm not here for your entertainment. I'm not. I just am. Do I look like an influencer? Do I look like an influencer who has Botox in their face? No, I do not. My buttocks looks like it's got Botox in it, but my face is devoid of that stuff, and no duck face. So stop asking. It's rubbish. It's rubbish. Especially when all you ask about is the state of my nether region. It's ridiculous. You're a bunch of perverts. Anyway, so I am going to talk about that though, because I wanted to give you an update on a couple of interesting things. First of all, I discovered what is the most dangerous thing in Australia. And it is not what I thought. And it's not what you thought. The most dangerous thing in Australia is a kidney stone. And it's a kidney stone that I brought with me from New Zealand. So yeah, I'm talking about my nether regions again. But I had two separate events pretty close together, while here, where boulders tried to go down from my kidney to my bladder via this dinky horopipe and cause much agony once again. And I was bloody annoyed about the whole affair. I was really annoyed about the whole affair. Because I went to the emergency department and I sat in there, and it was a Friday night, and it was full of drunk people that had walked into poles and walked into people's feet and people's knuckles. And I had to sit with all of these guys, and there was spewing going on, and it was all particularly unpleasant. And I was a bit sore, let's put it that way. There were things that were stinging. And I sat there for, I think, 6 hours before I got the arse in. And I got up and I left. And I went home to wallow in my misery. And this went on for 2 or 3 days. But there was a happy outcome. Now that may sound perverse, but it's true. There was a happy outcome, because my friend Smiler, her husband Bossy, has also suffered from this terrible affliction, which is worse than man flu. And what she said is, take a teaspoon of bicarb and put it in warm water and drink that motherfucker. Now, I immediately dismissed that as an old wives' tale, as one should, because it's ridiculous. A teaspoon of bicarb in warm water to try and combat this giant asteroid with stabby bits going down my tender parts. But it got to the point where I was so desperate, I thought, oh fuck it, I'll just try it anyway. And so I did. I drank bicarb and water, and it tasted nasty. It tasted nasty. But within the hour, the pain was gone. And that annoyed me too, because now I've tried an old wives' tale and it actually bloody worked. So it's a happy outcome, but a slightly unhappy one as well. But it got me intrigued as to whether there was any actual science behind this. And so I did some investigation and deep research late into the night on kidney stones. And I'm now officially the world's leading expert on kidney stones, in my opinion. And when I say research and investigation, I mean I spoke to ChatGPT and I did some Googling. But I discovered some very interesting things. So listen up. I'm about to smack you with knowledge. There is 4 different types of kidney stones. Not all kidney stones are created equal. There's 4 different types. 2 of them are very rare, so we're not going to talk about them. They're like hen's teeth or unicorn shit. They're very rare, so we won't bother with those. But there's another two types. The first one is a stone that is made of some stuff called calcium oxalate. And 90% of kidney stones are these things. And the treatment for them is relatively simple. And you guys would have, if you've had kidney stones, you would have heard this before. Is that you gotta, because they are alkali, you've got to introduce more acid into your diet. And so you're told to drink like apple cider vinegar. And I apologize to Shane Jenner who said that, and I thought it was ridiculous. It's apple cider vinegar and apple juice and citric acid, anything citrusy based, anything that's going to raise your acidity level, because then that fights against the alkali and it takes the stabby things and it smooths them off, so that you end up with kind of this little eggy smoothie thing, and it can shoot down your horopipe like somebody on, you know, at Waterworld in Harare back in the day, just whoop, down into your bladder. So that's 90% of it. But 10% of kidney stones are made of uric acid. So if you go and you say, I've got kidney stones, they're going to assume you've got calcium oxalate ones, and they're going to tell you to introduce more acid into your diet. But if you've got uric acid ones, you're basically trying to put out a fire by pouring petrol on it. It doesn't work. It makes the whole fucking thing worse. Worse. It just takes the stabby bits and it makes them more stabby. And it says, oh, you're very lonely, so let's make another stone. Yeah, so so to combat those is exact opposite to how people normally get treated. You've got to introduce alkali into your diet. And bicarb is alkali. And what that does is exactly what acid does to the calcium oxalate ones, is it smooths off the stabby bits and it shines it and it polishes it and then it down your horopipe like yeah, I won't say that, but imagine if you spend Friday night eating a lot of Taco Bell. Yeah, basically the stone comes flying out like that. So it was a very interesting thing to find out. But I was still a little bit dubious about my science, because for two reasons. Number one, I wasn't particularly good at chemistry. I wasn't very good at chemistry. And also our chemistry teacher was a dude called Dennis Conway, by the way, who is now a mega movie, film, TV actor dude. So he was a very good actor. But, chemistry, he didn't really engage us too much. Not his fault. Yeah, I think he was just like shouting into the void when he was trying to teach me chemistry. So I spoke to my friend Davey, who's very smart and he's very science oriented, something to do with growing shit. And I ran the chemistry past him and he said, yeah, it passes muster. So I learned things, and I learned more about my kidney stones. And now what I do is every Friday, I take a glass of warm water and I put a heap teaspoons of bicarb in it. I stir it up and I drink it. Now, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure whether this is valid. If I get another kidney stone, I'm going to be bloody annoyed, because I've had to drink this foul tasting crap for ages. And I'm going to give Smile a cuck for that. I won't actually. She's wonderful. But I'll be bloody annoyed about the whole thing. Yeah. So that's kidney stones. I wanted to tell you about that. But there's a little kind of follow-up story. There's always a follow-up story when I tell you these things. The stone that was inside my kidney jetted down the horopipe, splash into my bladder, where it kind of chilled there on the lilo drinking margaritas. And at some point, the stone needs to come out. So, it might just break down a little bit more and you don't even notice it coming out. But I was at work and I thought, yes, I need a PA. So I went off to the urinal and I took my old fella out and I started having a pee. And the flow rate was very unsatisfying. It was not acceptable. It was like someone had crimped the hose pipe. It was just like dribble, 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 like an old man peeing. You guys wouldn't know. But so I thought, yeah, I bet you one of the stones is there at the motorway exit trying to come off the freeway. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to help this little fella out. And so I tried pressure. I put pressure to pee as hard as I could. Really put pressure to try and get the pee out. And the stone came flying out the end of my knob. I saw it come out. It smacked the back of the urinal. It was about the size of my pinky fingernail. Smacked the back of the urinal and zooted down the train. I wish I could have been fast enough to catch it. I would have peed all over my hands, but it would have been quite fun to actually get a hold of one of these things. So anyway, this thing came flying out, like a ricochet in a Clint Eastwood movie. Eh? It came flying out down the drain. But because I was putting so much pressure to get it out, the pee came out after that like I was holding the world's shortest fire hose, just like, and it hit the back of the urinal, and then it splashed back all over my shoes, all over the floor, and all over the front of my jeans. This is like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. So I spent the next 10 minutes cleaning up the floor, so wiping my boots that got covered in pee, and then trying to get the stain of pee off the front of my jeans, as well as spraying like Lynx Africa to try and get rid of the smell of urine. So, but yes, that was quite funny. It was quite funny with hindsight. At the time, it wasn't funny. It was bloody annoying. Equally satisfying to have the stone come flying out, and annoying to then be covered in piss. So yeah, so that's about my kidney stones. But I also wanted to tell you about something else that made me exceptionally grumpy. I got fined $500. I got a traffic offense, $500. Now, if you know me, you know I drive like a nana. If the speed limit is 100, I go 95. I don't use my phone in the car. I don't fuck around when I'm driving because I don't want to get a fine. But I got fined $500 for using my phone while I was driving. That's bloody annoying. And what's more annoying is the circumstance. The circumstance was this. I had my phone sitting between my legs underneath my testicles. And that was counted as using my phone while I was driving. What do they think? Do they think my balls were phoning other balls to talk about ball things? Do they think that my omelette was sending text messages to other penises in the locale? No, all I was doing was enjoying the warmth of my mobile phone against my testicles on a winter's evening. I don't think I should pay $500 for that. So fuck you, Dot. By the way, if your name's Dot, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the Department of Transport in Western Australia. Fuck you, Department of Transport in Western Australia, for giving me a $500 fine. Yeah. So that's it. Stop complaining. I love you guys.